Today I'm going to be giving my fresh opinion on SwiftDFG's video about the new Black Clover game that just had their testing phase very recently but does not have a release date. Now he titled his video, will this be the first good Black Clover game? Or Black Clover Roblox game, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I've seen the inside of the game. I have my own opinions, but let's get straight into the video. Let's go ahead and watch this video, see what his opinion on it is and how my opinion agrees with that or contradicts.
Will this be the first good Black Clover game on Roblox? Yesterday I got the chance to test Clover RPG.
He lucky, bro. I'm telling you, bro. No, I'm just playing. Let me chill.
And after my testing experience, it definitely has the potential to be great. But there's obviously a reason I say potential, but let's get straight into it. I stream on Twitch daily.
God did.
So the first thing you're gonna notice about Clover RPG when you load in the game, and just the thing that really carries the gameplay experience in my opinion, is the combat. The combat is very similar to Deep Woken, but in a Black Clover game. And as someone like myself that hasn't even played Deep Woken very much, it still was very easy for me to adapt to the combat and really start enjoying it very fast. And I don't know if it's because the combat felt new to me, but even when I was fighting things like bandits, it still felt like I was having fun.
Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. It definitely is similar to Deep Woken. It's not, I wouldn't say it's closely similar. I feel like they low-key went on their own tangent when it came to their combat, and they made it fun. It's a pretty good combat system. I like it.
Just because I was enjoying the combat, but some parts of the game just didn't feel like they fit the
Oh, he's getting into it. Y'all listen very closely and watch exactly how this boar is fighting. See this boar right there? I know he's gonna show it because it's bullcrap. Look.
Combat very well. For example, a problem that a lot of testers experienced was the boars in the game. The boars are a lot different than the normal NPCs because it's very hard to tell when to parry the boar's attacks. And compared to all the other fights, it just really feels unresponsive and like I'm playing a RNG type of game. And just,
do you see that? Bro, hold on. Let me show
all the other fights, it just really feels unresponsive and like I'm playing a RNG.
There was no indicator that he was going to buck him like that and send him flying. There was none. It just happened. This is why fighting the boar, I don't know if y'all can see now, but this is why fighting the boar in this game is actually ludicrous. That's why it's actually astounding. It doesn't make any sense. There's no, like, it's like you have to guess what's going to happen because there's no indicator to let you know, like, hey, he's gonna attack. There's no, like, what is it called what do they call it when you move your body as if you're going to punch? What is that called? I think it starts with a T and it ends with like graph or telegraph movement. I think it's called there's no telegraphing of the movement or whatever it's called. There's none of that. He buck his head and you're gone. That's it. Whereas when you fight like the spider or something, it glows red when it's gonna do its heavy attack, or like you can kind of see a pattern there. You M1 like 4 times and it hits you with one of its legs. Then you M1 once, or you really just wait 1 second and you're gonna get hit with 2 legs after that. But then sometimes it like switches it up and does something completely different. So, you know, the spider is a little bit better though. The boar is really like out of this world
type of game and just kind of dodge and hope I don't get hit. Now what I will say is they've already been adjusting the boar. They've adjusted its HP and whatnot, but to be honest, I really feel like the animations just need to be more obvious when they're coming. And there's also other animals in the game similar to the boar that I would assume have very similar problems. I didn't really get to experience them as much, but it's definitely still something that I want to keep in mind. For those that don't know, Clover RPG is loosely inspired by Black Clover, meaning they're not really trying to make it a complete Black Clover game, which I do understand and I think that's fine, but to an extent, I think they went a little too far with it. But don't get me wrong, some things still feel very immersive. For example, when you get your grimoire, it feels very similar to how it did in Black Clover. And as someone that really enjoys the anime Black Clover, I think if they were able to make the game feel more similar to that all the time compared to how it does right now, it would make the game feel a lot more immersive. But to be honest, I'd be very surprised if they were really able to make that happen. And the reason I say that is they're really focusing on the bare bones of the game and not really focus on adding things from actual Black Clover, which is something they've made very clear. But what do I mean by that? For example, if you look at the magics, there's only light, lightning, fire, and shadow, I believe. And even if they do end up adding more, these are magics that you don't really think of when you think of Black Clover. When I think of Black Clover, I personally think of things like
Wait, what did you just say?
You don't really think of when you think of Black Clover. That. For example, if you look at the magics, there's only light, lightning, fire, and shadow, I believe. And even if they do end up adding more, these are magics that you don't really think of when you think of Black Clover.
All right, now I don't agree with that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now, Shadow was one thing. When you think of Shadow, do you think of Black Clover? No. Like Shadow is like the equivalent of Dark. If you was to say Dark, then I would think of Black Clover, but you're not saying that, so no. But lightning? Fire? Light? Nah, that's I ain't agree with that one, I ain't gonna lie.
When I think of Black Clover, I personally think of things like anti-magic and 4-leaf grimoires and cool stuff like that, which are just not implemented in the game. Now, obviously, the game is still in relatively early testing, so it's definitely a possibility they still add more Black Clover themed things in the game, but I'm not exactly sure how focused they are on this at all. For example, the map doesn't really have a lot of Black Clover things in general. I personally think if they ended up adding the Clover Kingdom and maybe you're able to join a magic squad like the Black Bulls and actually interact with members and stuff like that, I think that would be something that would be really interesting.
See, now we're getting to the actual big brain part of this game. I understand it's loosely inspired by Black Clover, but you gotta add something a little bit more immersive and interactive to the game, bruh. Like that would be a crazy good idea. Like making a little a school that you have to go through in order to learn more of your magic, or like creating, you know, obviously, like he said, the Black Bulls, the different like groups that make up like the, I don't know, the Clover Army, whatever you want to say, like whatever you want to make it into. But that would be so much more interactive than just having this. Yeah, I'm good.
Interesting, but I don't think they're really going in that direction. But even though I do say that, I don't think they necessarily need to make a good game. It's just not necessarily gonna feel like a Black Clover game. Now, something I do want to give them credit for is the fact that this game had very little bugs at all as a tester. Like if I think about the games that came out this year.
Alright, he said very little. Alright, look, I'm gonna clarify for y'all boys. Now, he just said like the games that came out this year on Roblox. We just tested a game. I'm not gonna shout no names, but we just tested a game before this one that was horrible. Like you couldn't play it whatsoever. The bugs were, you know what I'm saying, next level. Next 3 levels. This one, it didn't have bugs like that, but as far as like the entire quest line, which is what you obviously need in order to become a stronger individual, it was broken. Like it seemed like every single quest line, because there's different quest lines, every single quest line seemed like it was broken at a certain point. Usually it was around 4 or 3, the 3rd stage of that quest line, or the 4th stage of that quest line. It was broken though. There was no like extensive quest completion, nothing like that. Like we didn't really get to go anywhere.
On Roblox, it had less bugs than most of them, and it's still in early testing, which really means the testers are doing their job, which is something that's really good to see. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something that can make or break games, and that's pay to win. And to be honest, from what I've seen so far, I'd be very surprised if this game ends up having a lot of pay to win features. They did say that they will be adding spin systems for race, clan, and grimoire, but they won't be affecting the game as much as you might think. Something they did say is that the grimoires are extremely balanced, and from my small gameplay experience, I would agree with this. And they did say that the race and clan buffs are gonna be very small, and to be honest, I didn't even notice any if they were even implemented in the game yet. They did say that there will be some game passes, but mostly all of them will be cosmetic, which is also a really good thing to hear. So with everything I've said so far, something really important I want you guys to understand is the game felt very polished. For a game in early testing, was actually very surprising. Like when I initially loaded in the game, I was actually kind of confused why the game had not released yet. It really felt like I was playing a full game, but very quickly I noticed the lack of content in this game, which is what's most likely going to take this game a long time to release.
Absolutely. Not only was the quest lines broken, but the map doesn't seem like something where you can just continue to play and play and play. It looks like you're gonna stop, and that stoppage is gonna come very soon.
And it's really gonna make or break this game. It has the base fundamentals of a solid game down, and I really did enjoy it. And what I personally hope they end up noticing is that they do have the base fundamentals down, and they really just need to focus on ramping up the production of how much content they have. And although they have said it is loosely inspired by Black Clover, I still think they should spend this time adding a lot of things from Black Clover. I believe it's most likely loosely inspired so they can use their own creativity and actually make the game they want to make. And I think they can still do that while still adding things that really feel like Black Clover. Like I'm telling telling you, just a few little things would go a long way, whether that's adding a certain type of magics that really feel like Black Clover, or adding parts of the map that feel like it, or adding some quests that are really from Black Clover. Right now there is no main quest line, so I feel like if they took these base mechanics and put it in a game with a quest line that is actually from Black Clover, it would be an amazing experience. You don't understand. I think it would be really great. And I don't say that to overhype the game, because that's not the current state the game is in. That's just what I personally hope happens to this game. Like, the game really just feels like a nice motor, like some V8, V12 type of motor, and it just really needs some nice exterior and it will be ready to go. But that's just my opinion, and a lot will probably change by the time the game actually releases. But I'll keep you guys updated on the progression of this game as much as I can, and if y'all want to like and subscribe, that actually helps my channel a lot. And I'll also be live on Twitch, so I'd appreciate if y'all go and pull up over there too.
Alright, that boy just promoted at this point. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go subscribe to that boy Swift. Go hit that boy up on Twitch. If you see it, go join it, you feel me? Because he's a W. Game a lot. But look, man.
Be ready to go. But that's just my
bro, is that an
opinion, and a lot will probably change by the time the game really just feels like a nice motor, like some V8, V12 type of motor, and it just
he did.
Clover, it would be an amazing experience. You don't understand. I think it would be really great. And I don't say that to overhype the game, because that's not the current state the game is in. That's just what I personally.
But yeah, he's definitely right. First and foremost, I believe that not everybody should get the same grimoire. As you can see, that guy's grimoire over here is blue, and guess what colors his is? Oh yeah, it's blue too. And guess what? It has a red symbol on it. Guess what he has on his? It's red too. I promise you it is. So anyway, I feel like they need more personalization, or like not even like for allowing the person to personalize himself, but give the person more individuality. So give them a random book that you designed and like make it, I don't know, I say like a good, like, they don't even have to be that much, like 5, like something like this. Everybody getting the same grimoire is kind of crazy. That's what I feel like anyway. But then again, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't really add to the, okay, it does add to the content in the game, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know like how to say that. It's not like terribly important. It's just a individualized issue, or not even an issue, but it's just like, it's something you could add to make someone feel like they're really playing the game and they're having their own experience type beat. And like he was saying, to make this game better, they already have a lot of their own like brainstorming added to this game. Like I can see their own cadence in this game. Now if they added, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more Black Clover, because they did say it's loosely inspired, so if they go ahead and add like a whole bunch, it'd be crazy. But just adding, you know what I'm saying, a little bit like some system, something cosmetic, like something. I feel like it just needs some more Black Clover for people to actually get it. Like at this point, it's just a magic fighting game, a magic game with combat, or a combat game with magic, whatever you want to say. It really does feel like a combat game with magic actually, because there's less magic, more like M1ing and parrying and stuff like that. So personally, I do think this game is on the more decent side of games for sure. I feel like once they get all their content together and put it, you know what I'm saying, add it and implement it into the game, it's gonna be one of those games where it's like, okay, they're averaging 20,000 players for the whole year type beat. I feel like this honestly could be one of those games, or more obviously, but I feel like at the bare least 20,000. But at the same time, I don't see it as that crazy game, that's just so crazy good, you feel what I'm saying? It's on the more decent side for sure though. It's up there with like GPO and things like that. At least the potential feels like it could be. Now they could just turn around and blow the whole thing, I don't know. But as far as I can see, the potential that I can see in this game definitely could be above GPO if anything. Because as you can see, I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, if y'all agree with me, you know what I'm saying, let me, or you don't agree with me, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Also do that for my boy Swift too. He really going crazy. Y'all better get on the winning team, you feel me? And make sure y'all join the Discord. I'll catch y'all next time. Deuces.